Hi, I'm Thomas. Today I'll walk you through Real Options, a framework for making investment decisions under uncertainty and for thinking strategically, not just as a valuation tool. So my motivation for this topic came straight from the news. This spring, the Danish chemical company Topsøe, which headquartered here in Denmark, Copenhagen, announced it was putting a brand new factory into hibernation. This is the factory right here, and this is the news covering this story. The market for green fuels, which this factory was producing, developed slower than expected, so Topsøe paused the plant and quoted, "until demand is robust." At that time, I was studying real options in my corporate finance course, and it struck me, this is a real option. Topsøe didn't sell this factory. Instead, it's holding the right but not the obligation to restart production when the market recovers. So what is a real option? It's management's right to act on a business opportunity with no obligation to do so. The journey looks a bit like this. You start with a business decision under uncertainty. You identify what flexibility management actually has. You classify it. Is this a right to expand, to wait, to abandon? Is this a call or a put? Then you map the value levers. You value the option and decide. Invest now, keep the option alive, or walk away. And critically, you monitor and exercise when the trigger is hit. New information arrives, uncertainty resolves, and you reassess. It's a loop, not a one-time calculation. So how do you value these options? You can see the same 6 levers that price a financial option map one-to-one over to a real option. So you just do the same as with a financial option. The funny thing about options as a valuation tool is that traditional valuation tools such as NPV ignore the value of flexibility, whereas a real option actually the flexibility and uncertainty makes the option more valuable. And that is because an NPV valuation treats the investment as a now or never commitment. With a real option, you have the possibility to learn before fully committing, and that is worth a lot of money. We also have different types of options. Here we see the most common ones. We have the right to wait, to expand, to abandon, to shut down and restart, to alter the investment, or to stage the investment. Different labels for all of these, but the same logic. Each is a right, not an obligation. Calls on the upside, puts on the downside. Let's see 2 of them in one company. So this is a case on DFDS, which is a Danish ferry company. If we start on the left here with the expansion option. In 2018, the Danish shipping group DFDS acquired UN Ro-Ro and its 12 freight vessels serving Turkey-European trade. Each ship carries an embedded option. It can be cut in half and lengthened by 30 meters, adding freight capacity. That's an expansion option and an American call option. You see the picture here of what the option actually is. The underlying is the present value of the extra cash flow from the added capacity. The exercise price is the 10 to 11 million euros that it would cost to lengthen the ships, plus the revenue lost during the days where the ship was being rebuilt. Here's the insight. Standard theory says never exercise an American call option, but DFDS should, and they did. Why is this? Because the underlying pays dividend. Every year of waiting is an extra year of extra freight capacity lost forever. When those foregone cash flows exceed the value of waiting, you lengthen the ship. The same asset holds the opposite option. If we take a look on the right here, in October 2020, COVID had the consequence that DFDS couldn't fill up their ships with passengers. Instead of sailing with a loss due to few passengers, they parked one of the ferries in the harbor. Here, they kept the possibility or the right to start it up again when passengers came back. That's a shutdown and restart option, and what we call a put option. Now I'll talk a little bit about the limitations of the model. So why doesn't everyone use this? There's 4 honest limitations. The underlying isn't always observable. You have to estimate both value and volatility. The option terms are often unclear. There's no exclusivity. That means competitors hold the same options and their moves erode your value. And most importantly down here, managers exercise poorly and hence destroy value of the option. Either they exercise too early, which is called the itchy trigger finger, or they exercise too late, which is called falling asleep at the switch. And here is my sources. Thank you for watching. See you.